Hello everyone and welcome to episode 349 of the Mark and Me podcast. Now, I always say this and I probably sound like a broken tape player, but this episode is a huge one for me. Like, if you've ever met me, listened to any of my existing episodes of Mark and Me or skip to the end, you will know just how much I absolutely love Jaws, my favourite film of all time. So I'm absolutely thrilled to announce that today's guest is Alex Kintner himself, Jeffrey Voorhees. This has been a long time coming. Emails have been going to and from me and Jeffrey for a while, trying to schedule the right time, but here we are and I can't wait to share it with you in just a couple of minutes' time. But as always, I always like to use the intro for each and every episode of Mark and Me, just to quickly touch base and talk about my last episode. So on my last episode, I was joined by the amazing band Another Sky. Catherine was absolutely brilliant, and I've seen such a great response to this episode. One of the most honest and deepest interviews I've done in the history of Mark and Me. So thank you to everyone that listened, and thank you so much to the band for sharing this episode. But today, it's all about Jaws. For me, one of the greatest cinema experiences of my entire life. So to know that I've got one of the stars of the film and the second death in the whole movie is a dream come true. So here's me and Alex Kintner, Jeffrey Voorhees, talking all things Jaws. So Jeffrey, thank you for joining me today on the Mark and Me podcast.
Oh, nice to be on this. I checked out your website on the internet and it looks pretty interesting. And it's like I was just over in England it was like 2 years ago in Manchester doing a signing. England is fun. It's a lot of people over there are really into Jaws. So it's funny. This one guy over in Manchester, the security guy goes like, "Oh, just want to give you a heads up." And there's real actors at these things. Singers, actors. That one had like over 100 actors at it. And the security guy's like, "Just give me a heads up that one guy's been in line since 3 a.m. He wants to be at your table first." And he's a real big Jaws fanatic. And he is really nice, this guy from England. And he's like, he had Jaws tattoos all over his body.
It's
And
amazing.
right on the kneecap was the only area they didn't have a tattoo. And he wanted me to sign. He had a shark. The shark was biting his knee. The orca is on part of his leg, and then the shark's biting the knee. And then he's like, "Oh, can you sign inside the shark's mouth?" And it's like, okay. It's like, and then he was so nervous when I did it. And he was the first one in line on the Friday. And then the last day was a Sunday, and he was the last one in line. I was like, "Oh, what's going on? Like, we got this all taken care of." And he's like, "Oh, I was so nervous when you signed it. When I got to the tattoo place, it sweated off. Can you re-sign it?"
Oh, bless him. The best fans in the world, Jaws fans. It's insane.
It is. And that movie's 49 years old now, and well, almost 49. It will be
Yeah.
49 in a couple months. And that day of the year, I always get so many people. That's, what's it, 28th of June every year. It's like, my phone will be beeping, the internet. It's like, "We're thinking of you. You've been gone for another year. This last year, it was the 48th year since you died. It's like, we're thinking of you. Good luck." It's like, oh, God. It's funny.
I just, before we started this interview now, and I took a screenshot of me and you and your dog, and I sent it to my wife, and the first reply was, "He's alive!"
You dead kid, the boy.
So where did it all
So,
start for you? So talk to me when you were a kid, when you were first growing up. What did you want to be? Did you have any desire to ever be in a film? Did you want to be in a band? Did you want to be a famous footballer? What did you wanted to be?
well, it's odd because this island, Martha's Vineyard, where they filmed it, um, it was like we got here like less than a half year before they started filming the movie. And it's a small little island. And, back then lived right in town where there's this big hotel called the Kelly House. And it's maybe a 3-minute walk from where you live, and the school's a 5-minute walk. So you're always down there. And word got out they're making a movie. They need a lot of extras. They'll pay you $40 a day to be an extra in it. And we, 12-year-old kids, we're like, oh, let's go sign up. We'll make $40 a day. And so, everyone in the movie, it's like, hey, there's my brother, there's a friend, there's like Chris Rebello was the oldest son of the deputy, the sheriff. The two kids.
Yep.
Chris Rebello was the oldest one. We were in the same class, so knew him. The little guy, Jay Mello, the younger brother. Do you know the Muffin Man?
Yeah.
Knew him and all the. It's basically you knew everyone, but they said sign up, and so we all went down to this one of the hotels that were open year round, and you just sign up. You write your name down, and then they called a few people back like a week later, and they said they hand you a piece of paper with a bunch of writing. They go, read a couple lines here. It's like, okay, I go, okay, so now what? He goes, oh, okay, you get a speaking part. You get not at $40 a day, you can get 140 a day.
Wow.
And you're a 12-year-old kid. It's like, oh, this is great. It's like, and it was all just, we went down there to make a few bucks. And so basically I ended up getting a speaking part. And that's where the whole thing, just started from there. Because when they filmed that down here, if you were going to be a speaking part, you had to join SAG, Screen Actors Guild. And so basically, I didn't know if you got royalties and stuff. That's all down the road. But you sign up, you have to join, be in SAG. And they filmed that on this island. They had to be done before Memorial Day weekend. That was the deal. And this island, it's like over in England. It's like, it's kind of damp and cold until like June or July. I don't like swimming here until July. And that was all done. And they had to be out of here before it's like the middle of May. And that water is so cold. So, you go to these signings and you have to get on stage Q&As and people like, oh, were you afraid of the shark? No, I was afraid of freezing my 12-year-old off in that water. It's like that water was so cold. But like, since I had to join SAG, down on the beach where they filmed it, it's like that one scene where I get eaten, Spielberg's like, beg to go back in the water. And those nice beach houses? It's like if you went on the other side of them, it was like plywood with 2x4s holding it up. It was all fake, but it looked real.
Yeah.
And that beach was so cold that time of the year. And on the other side of those beach houses, these big trailers on the beach up near the road. And that's where they had dressing rooms for, Richard Dreyfuss. They all had their little rooms so you can get out of that cold air. And since I joined SAG, if I had a break, I can go inside there. Someone standing there with a robe is like, so they're filming the scene and Spielberg's like, beg to go back in the water. And when Lee Fierro, my mother in the movie, when she lets you go back in, start swimming out a little ways, and then we'll say cut. And everyone on the beach there, it's like, oh, there's my brother, there's my sister. You knew everyone there. It's like the lady Lee Fierro, my mother in the movie, she was a sweetie. It's like she was kind of from the island. She did a lot of plays in New York, so you would see her once in a while. But that one scene, it's like, Brody sitting there with his kids, which you were friends with, and then so basically Spielberg goes, okay, now beg to go in the water, and when you start swimming out, and maybe from here, 100 yards or whatever meters that is, he goes swim out, and out there's this big barrel right near the top of the water. You couldn't really see it because it was like right up at the top of the water. And that water was so shallow. It looked deep, but it was pretty shallow. And he goes, when you get near that barrel, we'll say cut. So you swim, beg to go in the water, your fingers are pruned, swim out, and then go out in right near that big barrel full of blood. And then Spielberg goes, okay, now cut. And then they put a half raft over that barrel full of blood. And the front part of it was all blown up. It looked real. And there was no back half. The back half went over the barrel full of blood. And then Spielberg's going, now you're going to lie on top of that barrel and the raft, and then we'll start filming again. And when it explodes, go underwater and stay under there as long as you can. So you're 12 years old, freezing your little ass off in that water. This thing's going to explode. So you're all nervous the first time. And it's like, so basically, everyone there, all the kids look terrified. They were all just freezing cold. Everyone, adults, that's cold water. You don't want to swim here till July. But the first time we try it, it's like, okay, I'm lying on this thing, freezing cold. It's also blood just flying up in the air. And it's like, so I go underwater, hold my breath, and then finally come ashore, go to Spielberg. I go, freezing cold. I go, okay, we all set? And he's like, no, your arm came out of the water. We're going to have to do it again. And it would take 7 or 8 hours for all that blood to
Wow.
go up. So, like, it wasn't like, okay, let's try it again. It's like you have to wait. And since I had to join SAG, someone standing there with a nice little robe and a bottle of water for me, 12 years old, I just screwed up. Everyone's freezing cold. My brother, all my friends are out there freezing cold. And Spielberg is, okay, we got to wait a few hours. And so everyone's out there freezing cold. I go into a nice warm dressing room because SAG, Screen Actors Guild, and then I felt bad. I screwed up. My friends were all freezing cold, and so the next day we tried again, and oh no, your arm came out of the water or your leg came out of the water. It was something different every time, and because you're lying on this thing, the blood flies up. And Spielberg, it's one of his first movies, so he was like trying to everything had to be perfect. And then, and after day 2 or 3, it was like at first I felt bad. It's like, there's all my friends. Hey, you guys enjoy it. It's a little cold out here. I'm going inside where I get something to eat. It's like, and just rubbing it in their face. But then on day 5, Spielberg finally goes, okay, enough. 5 days, and that scene's not that long. And he goes, this time we're going to try something different. There's 2 guys in wetsuits. They're going to be underwater. And when that thing explodes, each of them is going to grab one leg and lift you in and out of the water a few times, then pull you under and give you air because they had air tanks. So, and that's why you see me go up
I
and
was going to
down. It's like
say, yeah.
you guys are up and down, and they pull you under and give you air. It's like, I think nowadays, if, you know, they were doing that to some 12-year-old kid in a movie, dude or something. I mean, the girl Susan, that the one that dies
Susan
before me,
Backlini, yeah.
she's a sweetie. I see her a couple times a year at signings, and anytime I sign photos with her, if they go to her table first, he always writes first victim and then signs Susan. And if they bring that same photo to me, it's like, okay, I have to write second victim. Anytime I sign with her, she writes first victim. It's okay, second victim. But like her scene and my scene is like hers. She was like, her neck was a mess for a while because they had ropes tied to her, dragging her back
It's
and forth.
crazy. I've read a lot about the making of, and I genuinely couldn't believe they had ropes around her waist and pulling them so it'd like take her. It's horrendous.
Because I see her, she lives on a boat out in California now. And these signings, I used to hide from those things. And some of these people would come down and, oh, just we'll fly you there. You just sign photos. You'll do pretty good just signing pictures. It's like, and we have a little restaurant and a bar on the wharf here on the island. And it's like, you're a workaholic in the summer. It's like, I don't have time for this. And then finally they just kept coming every year. And it's finally I said, I'll try one. They fly you from the island, on a little plane. And, one year, one in Germany, one in England, one in New York, and one down in like Kentucky or something. It's like, yeah. And someone picks you up at the airport, someone's holding your name,
It
and you're
sounds
there
pretty
with
nice.
real actors, and it's fun. It's like, uh, some of these guys, like Jeff Kramer, he's in Jaws too. He was in the last one. And you get other actors in other movies like Friday the 13th. They do the signings for the same people I do it with. And it's funny, Adrian's one of the ladies that's the girls in it. And I see her all the time. And she's like, you get so many people over that table, and we're real actresses. It's like, that's what happens when you die when you're 12 years old.
Did you?
But
I know it's hard to go back mentally when you're the age of 12, but surely you never had any idea how big that summer was going to be when the film came out, because it is the ultimate biggest summer blockbuster, isn't it? It's nearly 50 years old, and people, you don't just like Jaws, it's part of your life. You love it.
No, it's crazy because over there, you know, when we signed up to be in it, it's you get $40 a day. But when it first came out at the movie theaters, it was different back then. It wasn't internets and
No.
and that's where, okay, you go watch it in the movie theater. We saw it here on the island, Amity, Martha's Vineyard, a tiny and you know, people are like, were you afraid of the shark? It's no, you're just pointing out things, little things like, oh, there's my friend, there's the traffic's supposed to go this way and it's going this way, or you go around one corner where it says that big sign, welcome to Amity, and where Brody's coming around in his Jeep, that scene where all of a sudden says welcome to Amity. It's like that's one side of the island, you're up in Oak Bluffs, and you go around a corner, and all of a sudden you're up in Gay Head, all the way up. So it's just funny just pointing out little things like that, or little other things. You know that little parade in the movie?
Yeah.
Um, I just moved the island. I was in that band. It was the Edgartown Boys and Girls Club, and the band was I played the drums in that. And Spielberg wasn't going to let me be in that scene because they hired the band to be in that parade. And he goes, "No, you can't be in it. You die in the movie and all this." And then it's a small island, so we would see those guys all the time. It's like, oh, there's Robert. And it's like run over to him. It's like, why can't I be in it? It's like I'm still alive. And that before that scene, and then finally he gave up. He goes, okay, he let me be in it. So a lot of oh trivia questions, or you get some of these people who are, is it true that you are in another part of that movie? It's like, yes, I was in that other part of the movie. It's just little things like that were fun. It was like, or they would have cookouts and baseball games, for all the kids. There were a lot of kids. And like Richard Dreyfuss, those guys who were out there playing baseball with you. And you look over far away, it's like Robert Shaw would be sitting away from everyone. And we were 12-year-old kids all running over to just say hi to him. And it's like you get closer, you can smell booze before you even got there. And you get over near him, it's like, hey, how's it going? It's like, get away from me, you little shits. It's just like in the movie. He wanted nothing to do with kids. Hey, you little shits, get away. And it's like, and it's a small island. And he would stay down at like one of these hotels. And it's like, there he is over there. So, and it's like me, five friends. We see there's Robert. Let's run over and say hello. Just piss him off. And you run up to him. Hey, how's it going? And he turns and you just go flying down the street the other way. It's like, okay, payback time.
So what were they like? Because obviously, Brody, Roy Schneider, he seems like he would be a lovely guy. I don't want to shatter the dream, but I'm sure backstage and doing all the stuff on set, surely he was lovely and welcoming to you all.
Oh, they were all of them. Robert Shaw just didn't want anything to do with little kids. The rest of them, they would
Yep.
have cookouts, baseball games, and it's a small island, so it's like we'd be walking down the streets, and I mean, if you look at some of those old photos, I mean, Robert Shaw, I mean, Spielberg, he looked like, he just got out of college. This is his
Yeah.
second real movie. He was really young, and Richard Dreyfuss, everyone was this all really young, and it's funny when I go signing photos for like Richard now. I was just with Richard Dreyfuss, Susan, and Jeff Kramer, the deputy that finds the arm on the beach.
Yeah.
We were just in Kentucky doing a signing, and it's funny. You have Richard Dreyfuss and Susan. They'd be at one. Richard Dreyfuss, it would be like he has like 100 photos on his table. Mine's like 20, and then Jeff, and then Susan, and people would wait in his line like for 4 hours, and then they bring it over to me after. It's like, and wait a couple more hours. It's like they got Jaws fanatics. And some people are, used to hide from all that, but like this one girl, I think it was down in Indianapolis, I think. And these people drove like 6 hours from up near Detroit or Chicago, and the girl's crying, and they had a raft and stuff, and they're like, the people started going. The girl that was crying couldn't even talk, and the, I think a parrot or someone's like, "Oh, she's such a big Jaws fan. She doesn't care." Richard Dreyfuss, his line was like 4 hours, and Alice Cooper was right next to Richard Dreyfuss. His was like four, and they're like, doesn't want Richard Dreyfuss autograph, just wants your scene, that one scene. And finally she stopped crying. We signed the raft for her. We're all getting photos. They drove six. It's like, oh, if it makes someone someone's that happy about it, it's like, okay, yes, I'll do that. It's some people are just so psyched. It's like, okay, I'll be more than happy to make someone that happy for just signing a photo or getting in a picture with them. And it's funny, just lots of little things over the years because the lady, Lee Fierro, my mother in the
Yeah.
movie, she would be on this island once in a while. She did a lot of plays down in New York, but she kind of lived here and she got COVID and died in a nursing home
It's
a
so
couple of years
sad.
ago.
Yeah.
And but one time in our restaurant, the Wharf Pub in Eggertown, it's like, damn, there's Lee Fierro. It's like this time of the year when it's really slow. And it's like there was like 3 or 4 tables, and I go, "That's Lee Fierro." I didn't know the older lady, her friend there. It's like I told the waitress, "Oh, I got this table," and so I get a pad of paper, go over. Okay, ladies, what can I get for you? And she recognized me, but she knew I was playing around, and I go, before we go any further, let me ask you a personal, odd question. And her friend looks at me like, "What the hell?" And she's like, "Oh, what?" I go, "Do you believe in reincarnation? Because I think I died years ago and you look like my mother in my previous life." And her friend's like looks at me like, "What the hell is this guy?" And all of a sudden her eyes get wide. She goes, "Oh my God, I had a son that died back in the 70s." She goes, "How'd you die?" I go, "It was in the ocean." She goes, "Did you drown?" I go, "No, I think I was killed." She goes, "Was it an animal?" I go, "I think I was eaten." She goes, "Oh my God, was it a shark?" And her friend's looking at her that it's like, I go, "I think it was. I don't remember too much, but it was blood everywhere." She goes, "Oh my God, you're my son." And she gets up and hugs me. And her friend's about to have a heart attack. And she said, "Hey, we were in that movie years ago together." It's like, so it was fun seeing her again. It's like, oh, it's Lee Fiera. She was a sweetie.
I
It's,
read a lot of people that tried to meet her, then would ask to slap her across the face. So
yeah.
instead of asking for an autograph, you'd be like, "Can you just slap my, slap my cheek?" I just find that really crazy.
Well, on Martha's Vineyard here, Clinton, the ex-president, Bill Clinton, and Obama came down to this island every summer. And when they would come down for their summer vacation every year, you would have so many ABC, NBC, CBS, networks from all over the world down here. And then one time, one of the last years, Obama was down. Have you heard of Good Morning America, that
Yeah.
show? They were here, and one of them got a hold of me and go, "Hey, we have your mother in the movie to do an interview on the beach where you got Eden. Will you do it with us, with her?" I go, "Well, if Lee's going to do it, I'll be more than happy to do it with her." And so we met up, and they had to help her down on the beach. She was getting older, and then we were talking. They were talking to me for a little bit. Then when they were talking to her, like the guy was like, "Oh, so we heard for years people would ask you to slap him in the face." And she goes, "For the first 10 years, that's all people would do. Come up and say, 'Can you slap me in the face?'" He goes, "After 10 years, I wouldn't do it anymore. I wasn't slapping anyone else in the face." And then she's talking. I go, "Let me interrupt for a minute. You're my mother in the movie, that is. Slap me once in the face." And she's like, "What?" I go, "Come on, you won't do it anymore, but you'll slap your old son that's dead now in the face." And he got me on the camera shaking his head, yes. And she, bam, a little tap. It's like, oh, I go, "No, like in the movie, that's nothing. Do it like in the movie." And bam, she got me good. And then when it was all done, they're like, "Oh, this is great. That one scene though, we only have like 2.5 minutes for this on that. They're gonna cut that out, but it'll be on the internet," because she slapped me really good. But she was a sweetie. It's like we bump into her every once in a while, and but
So
just
many
little
great
things like
memories, so
that.
many good stories.
Yeah, her, or just other ones that Richard Dreyfuss or Spielberg, those guys, you only saw them a little way back then. Then as soon as you start doing those signings, Richard Dreyfuss, he's great. It's like I see him a few times a year, and him and his wife, it's like it's just funny because we'll be sitting there and he's talking about, "Oh, his mother wouldn't talk to him for years after he did a movie over in Germany because he's Jewish, and his
Yeah.
mother was mad that he did a movie over there." And it's just funny. He'd be talking about all these things. He's really nice. And you see him, as long as he's on the wagon, you see him at those shows that, you know, it's like I always like, why do you still do these things, Richard? You're a real actor, and he makes good money at those things. Why not? It's the fans really like it so much. It's like, okay. I mean, this one girl last October, I think I told you the guy in Manchester had the tattoo.
Yeah.
This one girl, she had tattoos all over everywhere. Horror movies. What's the moth? Is it
Silence of the Lambs, is it?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Um, she had all these tattoos, and she's like, I have no room left. Any chance? I have the Jaws logo. Can you sign right over the Jaws logo, maybe? I was like, yeah, I don't care. It's like, you want to pay me to sign your knee or whatever? And it's like, I go, okay. And then she starts pulling her skirt up in her crotch area. I'm like, oh my God. It's like, and all of a sudden the security guy comes over, no private parts. And so, you have to listen to those guys. It's like, okay, sorry, I can't really do anything about it. And we were at a bar that night having something to drink, and that girl, it's like, oh, there she is. She comes up. Oh, I can't believe you want to sign. I go, I would have signed it. It's like, I have no say. And I go, it starts at 10 tomorrow. Get there a quarter of. I'll sign it. I don't care. And she actually showed up. I didn't think she'd show up. And then she's like, oh, here's the 50. And I'm like, when you get the tattoo, just send me a picture of it. And I signed right over the Jaws logo. Let's see if you can see that. That's her leg.
Can you move it up a bit? I can't quite see. There you go. Oh, wow.
It's the Jaws logo. That's my signature with the autograph. She got you signed it and then they autograph over it. It's like, oh my God. It's like, yeah, the whole Jaws logo. And then,
It's in- that's insane.
but like at this one, here's once a day they come and get Richard Dreyfuss, Susan, Kramer, Jeff was there, and people get in the photo. So they're, once a day, I was standing
Like a
in the
whole
shark.
group shot.
Yeah, the group shot. And then I was telling you the Friday the 13th people, there they are. They're in the one standing in the mouth. They're in Friday the 13th. Those two, they're sweeties.
That's so good.
But just little things like that. I used to hide from those things, but you go to those and they're fun to go to and things
The
like
thing is,
that.
Jaws fans aren't idiots, are they? They're the most kindest, loving people in the world. They are so obsessed with Jaws. They will do everything and anything to meet you and just have your time. They're so grateful.
Oh, they are. I mean, I was just down in the Keys and people, oh, where are you from? It's like, oh, Martha's Vineyard. Oh, they filmed Jaws there. It's like, oh, that's one of our favorites. It's like all of a sudden, wait, you're the dead Alex Kendall. But that movie never knew it was going to be such an explosion. But then they had like Jaws 2 down here. They didn't do as much of it on this island.
I heard, I don't know if it's true, but I heard you auditioned for that film and they told you to go away because you died in the first one. Is that true?
Yeah, the second one, we all go down. Let's sign up.
Get
And
some more
like,
money.
yeah, sign up, be an extra, and then they're going down the list. Like my brother, everyone, they're like, okay, you're all set. We'll see you tomorrow. And then they get to me, and it's like, wait a minute, you can't be in this. It's like, why not? They're going, you died in the first movie. I'm going, I'm older. I look different now. They're like, no, if the media ever found out about this, you ruined the movie. It's like head down, walking away. It's like, oh, I can't be in it. But
So what did you do then after Jaws? Obviously, you didn't make Jaws 2. Did it take long for you then to get into the kind of hospitality catering world? Because you've obviously got a restaurant now, haven't you, on the actual island?
yeah, I mean, I was after college, been in the restaurant business for years, and just little things. I mean, it's a busy island in the summer. You're a workaholic in the
Yeah.
summer. And like Jaws, until like the, you know, early 2000s, back when the internet came to life, you know, you get a check once in a while if Jaws is on TV. You would always get a check anytime it's on TV. Never knew about that, but it was never a big. I mean, some of these Amity Jaws clubs, the Jaws 50, there's like different clubs, and you look at it, some of them have like 68,000 members. And this one, the Amity Jaws group, they came down. I gave out an award. The person that runs it, she's in Boston, and I did an interview with them on oh, what is it, Cameo, but it got all messed up. So I said, they go, we're up to 30,000 members and we want to give out an award. Can we do another? I go, no, it didn't work. You're in Boston. If you want to come down and just have someone have a camera. So they came down. I gave out an award for one of the big fans. And so it's just funny. Some of those Jaws groups are it's big. A lot of people are in those over in Europe too. It's like, well, a lot of them over in England.
What's your plans then for next year, the big 5-0? Surely there must be some huge events on the island and celebrations.
They got Spielberg, some people that he works with. They're putting together something out in California at the Universal Studios or something Spielberg's doing on his own.
Yeah.
And two ladies that were setting it up were down just trying to get all the information they could have, who's left on the island and see if we could do something there. And it's like, I was telling them, yeah, I'll do something out there if, let's just fill me in because I have time now. I'm not working as much and I'll do, 4 of these a year. So, and next year with the big 50th, that's going to be a crazy one, I think. And like Spielberg, I'll do that one with him if he wants me to go out there and do something. But here on this island, they're going to have 50th. Well, that's 2 years from now. It's not
Yeah.
this. Oh, wait, no, 49th is this year,
Yeah.
50th
50
next
next
year.
year.
Yeah. But like those things, what was it on the 45th anniversary? There's a really big one over in England. And the people that run those were funny because they were like, they got a hold of me early that year. And we go, the 45th anniversary, this is a big one. They're going, there's only 7 people still alive with their name in the credits. This is for the 45th. And the people that run it are like, we have 5 of the 7 people that come for that signing over in England. Can we count on you? It's like, I'll do it. And then they ended up canceling it because of the COVID.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And the people that run it were like, do whatever you want with the airline ticket. They were all upset. 45th. And then they're like, I couldn't believe these people. They're like, oh, the next real big one will be the 50th. They're like, you're the youngest one to die in the movie. You might be one of the only ones around. It's like, oh my God, these
It's a sad
died when,
fact.
excuse me.
I said it's a sad fact, isn't it? That's very sad that there's not so many people left now.
I know I mean, there's not that many names in the credit. What were there, like 14 or so
Yeah.
somewhere?
I've
I
interviewed
mean,
Carl Gottlieb. I've had him on the podcast. He was lovely.
yeah. Oh, he's funny and he must have been talking how the shark broke down a lot
Yeah.
and because like on this island, they have this thing. It's a yacht club where they store boats in the winter. They let Spielberg and the film use their warehouse, and that's where they kept the shark, Bruce. The shark, Bruce is the mechanical shark. His name was Bruce,
Yeah.
and you had the left side that looked like a shark, and the other side of that was all mechanical. And then you had the right side, and the left side of that one was all mechanical, and then the top. So there were 3 different sharks. And that warehouse where they stored it when they were filming, we used to go over. This is back before they had alarms and cameras on everything. It's like, oh, look, looking around for a window that's open. And it's like, okay, I got a window that's open over here. And so like 6 kids, we're all like 12 years old. It's like, okay, let's climb in. So you climb in the window, and we used to climb all over the shark. And one time there was a shark tournament down in Tampa, Florida. And the people that ran that, they're like, oh, we want some people that were eaten by a shark to do a signing at the shark tournament. We have Susan said she would do it. Can we count on you? It's like, if Susan's doing it, I'll do it because they wanted 2 people eaten by a
Yeah.
shark in that one. And then there you had to get on stage. So I went up and I'm up there with someone that made the shark. He was down at that one too. And he's really nice. And they were talking to him, and the question would be like, oh, so we heard the shark broke down a lot. And he'd be talking about, oh, we made it for fresh water. And they were thinking maybe the salt water was making it. He goes, it didn't work for like 5 days straight, and they were having such a tough time, when the sharks coming up on the boat, and he was talking about all that. And then when I got the microphone, when they started asking questions, I was like, okay, I got to come out and tell the truth now. We were just 12 years old. I was just a little kid, so I got to tell you. And I'm looking at him, and he's sitting there next to me on the stage. I go, maybe that broke down a lot because we used to climb in there. We used to climb all over that every night, wiggling on the teeth. And he's like, looked like he wanted to kill me. It's like, oh, I
You're
just
the
had
reason
a,
the film took so long.
it's like, oh, maybe it was us. Maybe we destroyed the shark.
Oh God. Never tell Steven Spielberg that.
No, well, Spielberg, hell, he did quite well after that movie.
I was gonna say, yeah, he's done all right, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean everything. What Raiders of the Lost Ark, Star
Unbelievable.
Wars. His list goes on forever, and that's why I said he's doing something for the Jaws 50th. That I said I'll go out for that one.
That'd be amazing to see him again.
Yeah, no, I've seen him just once or twice since then. He'll be at some of those signings or when they were doing some big reunion thing. It's like, okay, you just see him a little bit, but he's like, I'm not doing this. I'm a real director.
He's
He's
too
working
busy.
on,
He's making masterpiece after masterpiece.
yes.
So, what's it like now then? Do you love kind of a work-life balance? Do you try and work in the restaurant and do as much as you can, but also have a better home-life balance so you're not working too much?
Oh, well, on this island, Martha's Vineyard, Amity Island, year-round residents on this island, like this time of the year, there's 15,500 on this island. And in the summer, there's 365,000.
My God.
The madhouse. And so you're a workaholic for like 4 or 5 months. And back when they were filming the movie, it used to be Labor Day weekend. The summer was over. And then it went more to, Thanksgiving, Christmas. The year got bigger and busier, but it's still, you're a workaholic in the summer. And I've been in the restaurant business for years, and it's like, why am I still doing this? It's like, still have the restaurant. I just don't. It's like, I'll come in occasionally. There's Jaws stuff all over the walls because people will
Yeah.
come in and the room, you go in the back room and, people, I'll stand in the picture with you, a picture of me getting eaten. But I never used to do those signings. And then finally it's like, okay, the signings and then cameos and then, this website we set up. It's like, why am I still I'm great. Why am I working 24 hours a day still? It's like, and I rent out a house too. It's like, take it
Yeah.
easy. That's why this year I finally said, okay, I left here right after Christmas and down on Key West for 2 months, driving down with a big St. Bernard. And that's where I was down there in Key West. And this year, since I'm not working as much as they have Jaws tours on this island, and they would always drive by our restaurant, and I'd probably be standing out front, and they're like, there's the Alex Kinder over there. And then last year I didn't work that much, so they're like, the tours were like, they couldn't send me or like the chief of police in Oak Bluffs. He's the kid,
Yeah.
Searle. He's the kid with the fake fin. And that's about the only two people still on the island, him and me. And so that one of the tour people, I've seen them for years. They would send people, over to our restaurant. It's like, okay, if I'm not busy, I'll talk. I'll do some Jaws talking. But she's like, so I was down in the Keys, and they set up this year. I'm going to do it once a week. And they were like, maybe twice or three times a week. I go, I'll do it once a week, and let's just see how, make it worth my while. People want to
Yeah.
get photos. So I'm going to go on a Jaws tour once a week this summer with to help that out. But when I was doing that, the person that was setting that up, the tours, there was this gentleman, Michael Fletcher, and he has like this wwideas.net. He does websites.
Okay.
He's really big into Jaws, and I think I've seen him at some of the signings, and he's got one of these Jaws, the Jaws 50th Club. He runs that one, and he found out. he was helping the girl that's doing the tours, and he got my number. And when I was down in the Keys back in January, he's like, "Oh, you should set up a website." I'm like, "I was thinking about that," and he's a big Jaws fan. He's setting up he's doing one of the 50th anniversary, his whole club down here.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Can I set it up for you?" And I was like, "Okay, well, I'm not sure what you charge, but I was thinking about getting that set up because so many people ask, just put a little information in there, and it's like, and then just throw in if you're doing a signing somewhere and he goes, "Oh no, I'll set it up for you." I go, "Okay, but it's got to cost." He goes, "No, if you let me do it, just mention my name." And I think he put it on the bottom of the. It's like, okay, he was just so psyched to do it, and then like some of those Jaws clubs after it came out, "Oh, Michael, that is so great. That website, Alex Kinder's still alive." But it was fun. And since that website got going, it's like, I think like today, the pictures that we have, the one me dying, it's like
Iconic.
that's, I think, which one? That one, I think this was the most popular before I
Yeah.
died. And all of these, before I died, it's like, this is someone over in England. He got 4 of them. So I have to sign these and then mail them across the Atlantic. It's like, okay, I used to do it just at the signings or someone come down to the island and it's like, and some people would be so happy. It's like, I just did someone in Texas, and I'll always hold the photo up and then email that to them or text it to them saying, "Okay, your photo's on the way," just so, because if you go to those signings, people love it when you stand there with the photo.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you're paying for the photo, and they're like, "Oh, that's great, thank you." It's like, just so they know it's really,
Really is
the
you.
Alex Kintner, it's hard to tell though. The little Kintner boy had a lot of, let's see, what the little Kintner boy, what's he have a lot of up here?
Quite a lot of hair, yeah.
The Stark ate all my hair. It's like,
That's so good. So if the fans really want to get an opportunity to own something signed by you, they can go on this website, order a photo, and it can be sent anywhere.
yeah, and that's one that over the years people would mail me stuff and say, "You have anything that," it's like, and then it's like, I was thinking of this when I stopped working, why not? Because some of these people you see, they wait in line or "Oh, I didn't know you were going to be coming," and they have Jaws. Oh, it's funny. Oh, a husband and wife would be there, and the husband's getting some Jaws photos, and he's like, "Oh, I have this one room, it's Jaws stuff, all in the entire room's a Jaws room." And I'm going to the wife, I go, "So you're into this?" She's like, "No, it's him." He gets one room in that
He has his
house.
little man cave.
Every wall, every ceiling, it's all Jaws stuff, and that's his room.
He's allowed one room with the whole house.
Yes. But
So, is there any talk of you coming back to the UK anytime soon, or?
definitely. I
Yeah.
like my nephew, he goes to school over in England right now.
Oh, right, cool.
My brother, his wife and family, they were in Valencia down in Spain, but now they live in Portugal. And so I go over to see them at least once a year. I'm going to be over in Portugal.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you've been down there. They just moved there, so I was checking that out. And there's an island. I lay on my way over last year the first time. It's like my sister-in-law's, "Oh, try out the Azores." It's like, and that's part of Portugal. You land there, stay there like a week, and then go over to the mainland. It's like, "Oh, okay, this is pretty good." And like that island, or I was just down in Key West for a little while, and there you get all the tourists. I was in the tourist crowd there. It's like, they're like, "Oh, this is expensive down here." It's like, this is cheaper than Amity Island. I live on Martha's Vineyard. That's one of the most expensive islands around. So,
So
but
hopefully we'll see you in the UK in the next couple of years.
yeah, the 50th, the people that run these, they do the signings.
Yeah.
That was a big one over in Manchester. And it's like, oh, I was standing out. What's the name of
Is it For the Love of Horror?
yeah, that's, oh, it's right near the soccer stadium.
Yeah, near is it Old
I,
Trafford?
and inside, inside of that one, they have someone came in the restaurant. I didn't even know they had these.
Oh, wow.
It's a doll of
Like a
me
figure.
with blood on it. It's
That's
like
amazing.
they wanted me to sign it. A picture of me dying as a kid. It's like, okay, I'll sign it, the doll. But over in England, I'm just trying to think. Yeah, in the they have a Star Wars bar
Oh, yeah,
inside.
it's Bowler's Green, the For the Love of Horror event.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that was a. I mean, that was a good one because where is it? This one guy, he got 80 photos of me dying.
Oh, my God.
He was probably going to sell them on the internet, and the people that ran it there are like, signed it in the back room, but over there they have like Q&As, and
Yeah.
those that's a big little. There's a lot of people out on the stage. You're answering questions out there, and that's where you have all these real actors at these things. And of course, I had to be on stage first, Jeff Voorhees. It's like, oh my God. But that was fun over in England. I'm trying to think, me and some of the other actors, they were in, where's the stadium after?
Is it Old Trafford, Manchester United? Yeah.
And like we're driving back to the hotel. It's like, oh, stop in front of, we got to get a picture at the stadium. So just standing out of the stadium there, but that was fun over there. That's where you have to get on stage and talk out there. It's like,
Were you nervous or was it all right?
oh, after you do it a little,
It's
it's,
okay.
were you afraid of the shark? Oh, and it's funny at these things, it'll be like you're there with a lot of other actors, and some of them are like, oh, I can't think of, some of them are like, oh, they'll be talking about, oh, yeah, before you go out on stage, they're like, oh, they're all talking about, yeah, they always ask me this one question. And it's like, it's funny. It's like, me, I go, yeah, they always ask me, was I afraid of the shark? And it's funny because, you get a lot of the same ones, but like the last one, oh, somebody, I was up there. Richard Dreyfuss was up there too, and he got really upset about that play that came out on Broadway because it made him and Robert Shaw look quite.
The shark is broken or something. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Ian Shaw, his son was doing it.
yeah,
Yeah.
Robert and Dreyfuss. He didn't like that whole thing because it
No.
looked like they hated each other. He goes, "Oh, I don't like that movie." It's like, and he's funny because of those things, like that last one. Um, they had a big shark. So once a day when we do they go, we got 80 people that want to be in a photo with the four of you. So they take you away from your table for like 15, 20 minutes. You stand there, someone buys a photo, and then they bring it back and have you sign it. And Richard's like, there's a little room before you got up there where you're waiting for the other actors to get off,
Yeah.
where they had some drinks and some food. And they were out of all the food. There was like some warm water. It's like, what is this? You can't. Richard Dreyfuss was like, I need something to eat. There's nothing in here. He was getting pissed. And his agent was like, oh, we'll find something for you. He goes, I'm not getting in there doing those photos unless you get me something to eat. And then his agent, his agent's funny because I see him a lot, and he's like, was there. He's like, oh, and he's like, takes off, and he comes back. He went out where all the people were on the other side.
Yeah.
Hot dog. He gave Richard a hot dog. And by that time, they had like 80 people waiting to get in line. They'd say, okay, next. And the people come in. You just stand there. Okay, next. And you just keep going, get it going fast. And he had this big hot dog. And the guy behind the camera is like, come on, let's go. He's like, I'm not doing this till I finish my hot dog. And his agent's going over there trying to pull the hot dog out of his hand. He's like, just let me hold it for you. And then he finally got the hot dog away from Richard. He got the photos taken. And he goes, where's the hot dog? I go, he gave it to me. I ate it. Thank you. And he looks, I go, he's still got it over there.
I'd love to meet him one day. He's on my list. I've met a lot of people, but I've had 335 guests now on the podcast. Huge names: Anthony Hopkins, Mads Mikkelsen, all the big names. But he's on the list one day to come on because I just think, what a legend. Hooper is amazing.
Yeah, he was really nice. And, it's just fun because you see him a couple times a year. That's over in Germany.
Oh, wow.
That's how and Susan signed that. So she wrote First Victim. But over there, the people that were running that, they go, we have an interpreter for you. It's like, I don't need an interpreter. They're like,
No.
there, someone's here, it's like, okay, what's the name? And they're like John or something. Okay,
Yeah.
there was like some German name. It's like, okay, and the person, the interpreter next to me writes out this like 20 lettered. It's like, okay, I need an interpreter here, but I'm trying to find out Richard. Where was he? That one. Yeah, we're sitting down having a drink at night. He's having a nice coffee, and there's his agent.
Right.
And he's one that I see a lot. He's his agent. You not drink. Richard doesn't drink now, so you're not going to have a drink with him.
No.
So we're all having coffee, and Richard's talking about movies that he was in and stuff. And then as soon as Richard's like, "Oh, my wife called. I got to go upstairs and bring something upstairs," and he goes upstairs for a minute, and then this guy, his agent's like, "Quick, let's go to the bar and have a quick drink." And then Susan, she was at this one too.
Ah,
And then after had a quick drink, his agent's like, "Lie on the raft. I want to be the shark now." It's like, oh my
that's
God,
amazing.
Richard Dreyfuss' agent, lie on the shark.
What I do, Jeffrey, is on the podcast is my last question to you is every guest that comes on um, is put on the spot. So you get to choose a song that you love. So it could be any song by any artist or any piece of music that you love. So as for today's interview, it's all edited. It plays at the very end of each interview. So obviously, every guest that comes on picks their song they love. I am putting you on the spot, but is there a song that means a lot to you that you'd love to be on today's episode?
Oh, I mean, there's always a few songs. It's like, which one is always in there? I mean,
What's the one that comes to your heart before the others?
oh, would it be like American Pie?
Yeah,
Uh, I mean, that's one that you always still hear, or Beast of Burden. It's like some of the older ones that just still,
classics.
yeah, just classics. Yeah, one of those two, or Rolling Stones. That's good stuff. But
But which
um,
Rolling Stone songs? There's so many good ones.
oh, well, or let's see, what is it? We Don't Get Fooled Again. That's the Who, but Rolling Stones. That would be Beast of Burden.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's go with that. That sounds. I've not had that chosen before, and it'd be good to listen to that again.
yeah. Go with that one.
So for the fans that are watching today, you've now got a new website. What's the official website address so they can go on there and look at your profile and see your pictures and
The the website. It's the name we went with. It's like you just type in it's just all one word, thedeadalexkentner.com.
amazing, easy to remember.
Is it thedeadalexkentner.com? And it was funny, the Michael um ideas, the guy that set it up, I was like thinking, is this gonna be me? It's gonna be like a couple pictures. But there it's like he has a whole clip of me getting eaten by the shark. Then you go further down, it will say how other movies that I've been in, my entire where I've worked, my whole history. It's like, how'd you know all this? It's crazy. Some people know everything.
Everything's on the internet. Everything.
Yeah, it's like, how'd you even know? It's like, and it's like, oh no, I knew that. It's like, okay, but it was like everything from where I worked, what I did. It's like, and he's like, okay, and then it says Cameo and stuff on there now, and he's like, anytime you can do a signing or do something, I don't know how to do it yet, but he's like, let me know and I'll put it on that because you go down to one, oh, it says fan club,
Yeah.
fan base, and then it goes down further and it's like uh upcoming events. So it's like, okay, so if you're gonna do something over in England or something, you just throw it on there. So and that's I mean, it's the fan base. I didn't know about that thing. And so your phone's beeping because I have my regular internet that we're
Yeah.
talking on. And that's just a total separate one, the deadalexkentner.com. And that it would be at first I was like, okay, is this another photo? It's like you could just join the club. So it's like, and the lot, I mean, that's a long club list already. It's like, oh, there's a lot of Jaws people out here. And they're just so psyched. It's like, oh, thank you. It's like, this is going to be right on my wall. It's like, the guy was all excited about. I just sent someone, and I'll send the picture. I go, it's in the mail. He's like, oh, thank you. I got room for it. It's waiting for me I got an open spot for it here. So
I love how
it's
much
fun.
it means to people. I love that you do this for people. Some people won't do it for the fans. They won't do conventions. They won't sign stuff. And it's amazing you do this because the fans, you mean the world to them.
Well, I used to hide from it, and you know, I was a workaholic. But then over the time, some people they're such fans, and
Yeah.
tears in someone's eyes, or little girl, they drive 6 hours with a raft to get it signed. It's like
You've
it's
made
gonna make
someone's day.
well, like some of those cameos are crazy. It's like I had one back in December. It says, "Oh, our son is a big Jaws fan." They send their request, and then it goes, "Our son's a big Jaws fan. His birthday's December 15th. It would make his day. Can you just wish him a happy birthday? He's gonna be one." It's like,
He's going to be one.
wait a minute. I think the parents are the Jaws fans,
Yeah.
but the real strange one was last year was like, oh, it goes, our father was a big Jaws fan, and he died watching the movie on the couch. Can you send your regrets? It's like, what the hell? It's like,
Jesus, that's weird.
and I call the guy in Chicago that runs it. I go, what is this? He goes, you don't have to answer it if you don't want to. If you don't answer it in 3 days, they get the money back.
Yeah.
And I run my dogs on that beach where I got eaten every day. And so I'm down there anyway. You just hold your phone up. Hey, happy
Yeah.
birthday. And that one, it's like, I'll give it a shot. So I'm down there. I'm holding the phone up. I go, hey, your father and I had a little something in common. He died watching me die. I go, this is the dead Alex Kintner here on Martha's Vineyard, Amity Island. Have a jawsome funeral. And I thought they would be mad. It's like a jawsome funeral.
Did
And they
they
were like,
love it?
5 stars. Thank you so much. That is great. It's like, okay. So you make some people happy. It's like, okay,
It's
you know,
wonderful. A few minutes of
piece
your
of high
time
from
literally gives them memories for a lifetime. And I think that's something that, is incredible.
And like I was down in Key West. I'm not sure. I have a scooter over here, one of those little ones you ride on.
Yeah.
And Key West, it's a small island. I drove down in a big truck because it was St. Bernard, but I didn't want to drive a truck down there. So I was out on this little scooter. I got a flat tire. And down there, it's like this island. It's hard to, someone's like, oh, well, we could get it fixed. It'll be 10 days. And I go, okay. And where's your address? I go, well, here's my home address. I go, it's up on Martha's Vineyard. You want that one or the one down where I'm staying here? He's like, oh, Martha's Vineyard. That's where they filmed that movie, Jaws. It's like, yes. I go, yeah, I was in that thing. He's like, wait, and he stops. He has Jaws stuff. He's like, you were in that movie? And then he's like, what part? I go, oh, that little kid that gets eaten? And he's like, oh, he was like, I had some photos from the signing in Atlanta. I go, yeah, I'll get you a photo. You want me to sign one? And he goes, oh, I go, so 10 days you're going to call when he goes, no, I'm going to fix it now. Just come back in an hour. And he fixed it then. He didn't charge me. I was like, oh, all because
That's amazing.
all since I've
That
been
was
dead.
worth dying for.
Yeah, it pays to die.
Jeffrey, thank you so much for your time today. It means the world. I really appreciate you coming on and talking about Jaws and all your memories and what you do for the fans. It's amazing, and I hope that you never stop because a signature or a photo, it really does stay with a fan for life. And I think what you do for the fans is incredible. So keep on doing what you're doing, my friend.
Well, it's fun for them and me. It's fun to get out and about. I'll be over in England again at a signing there, I'm sure, within the next year or two. But it's fun to get out and about. Believe me, I enjoy it.
And when you are here in the UK, I will buy you a beer, and we'll make sure that there's no agents around, and we can have a beer.
Sounds good. I'll say Sláinte, but that's up in Ireland.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll make it happen.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
Good luck with all that, and say hello to your wife for me.
So there it is. There's my interview with me and Jeffrey. What a lovely guy. Such a nice, humble man, and just a lovely human being. We've kept in contact and been emailing a lot since this interview, and he's absolutely loved coming on the podcast. And if you haven't checked it out, it's actually on YouTube, so if you love watching interviews instead of just listening to them, go and check it out now. It did over 2,500 views in the first 4 hours. So I know that Jaws fans are very dedicated and hardcore, but I was never expecting that. So just literally go on YouTube and type in Mark and Me podcast, and it'll come up with another 19 interviews as well for you to check out from all different people from all different walks of life. Now, hopefully you might be a long time listener, but if you're not and you're a new listener because of this interview and you're a huge fan of Jaws, there is an interview with Carl Gottlieb, one of the writers, but also another 348 episodes available on Spotify, Amazon Music, Podomatic and Apple Podcasts. All those podcasts are free, and I hope you find something that you love. There's actors, writers, directors, bands, musicians, and literally something for everyone. And if you've enjoyed today's episode, why not share it? I see so many people doing it on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. All the links are on markandme.com, and it is literally just the click of a button. And if you want to go that extra mile, I really do appreciate the support on Patreon. You can literally sign up for as little as £2 a month, and for that you get a welcome pack which includes stickers, badges, a monthly newsletter and exclusive episodes just for supporting me on Patreon, and that really does go a long way and helps me go out there and record more episodes for you guys at home. Now, just before I go, I want to give a shout out to the sponsor of the podcast, the amazing folks at Richer Sounds. And also, if you're in the market for a home cinema surround sound system, TV, Sonos, record player, go on their website, richersounds.com, or visit any of their stores. Now, episode 350 is only a few days away, and you may know I like to tease this, but it's a big episode, it's a milestone episode, so it needs to be celebrated in style, and I'm getting a returning guest coming back on Mark and Me for what I think is the best interview that I've ever done. That's big words, but I truly mean it. So, until then, look after yourself, go and watch Jaws, and I'll speak to you all very soon.